What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? It's Verti here, and today I got a tiny question for you. Do you ever feel overwhelmed by the insanely complicated talent trees that comes out in the game these days? Like Borderlands 4 is about to? Well, if that's you, have I got some bloody good news for you. Look, I've been in the back in the kitchen, cooking, theorycrafting, and I believe that I've come up with a killer build that I definitely gonna start the game with. So, stick around and let's get right into it. Now look, here's what we're going to do today. Just close your eyes for a second and imagine that you're booting up Borderlands 4 and you're looking through the Vault Hunters for the first time ever, and Vex is calling you, the siren of your dreams, but you don't know what build to play. But then you remember, my good old friend Verti. He must have got my back. I'm sure he's got a build that is good. And gosh darn dang tooting damn it, you are right. I think that the Infinity Sustain Facetank Lifeleech build might just be that. Now look, we're going to go over to maxload.gg, and I am not affiliated by them, but they are an amazing resource, and the Borderlands 4 team that they got over there are goated. Make sure that to support them, at least bookmark and use it for your own purposes. They are going to be very, very useful. And if you can, subscribe, right? They deserve it. However, to jump into the nitty-gritty of it, we're going to focus on the Incarnate skill. The Incarnate is the raw damage version. You throw out grenades, you throw out damaging, whatever. It gives you automatic lifesteal. That's what you need to know. When you use the action ability, which is essentially your ultimate, you get lifesteal. Now, the other reason why we do that is just a little bit of a background in my thoughts and my thought processing. The other abilities are Deadringer and Face Familiar. One is a pet, and the former one is clones of yourself. I love these kind of builds, but I've been burnt too many times with pets being weak in the endgame and getting one shot. So today we're going to focus on Vex alone, and make sure that she's OP and can one shot everyone or face tank everything forever. So without further ado, let's look into the talents. The first thing that we're going to look at, leeching attunement. This will allow you to get more kinetic damage while you attune yourself, and you will also get increased lifesteal and reload speed. So while your action skill is active, you gain lifesteal and you gain more lifesteal with your leeching attunement. Then we're going over to Bloodletter. Bloodletter is going to allow your gun and skill critical strikes to give you a bleeding debuff. The bleed scales off of your weapon damage, so you can get very strong power spikes if you find a good weapon. That should help you on the leveling. And then obviously, once you farm out the top tier weapons with the highest damage, you know where I'm going with this, right? Of course. After that, we're heading over to Target Prescience. This is the one that is the funniest of them all. Any gun damage can get a critical hit anywhere on the body, not just weak points. So the way that Borderlands work, they don't have a traditional crit system most of the time, where, you get a flat crit and then you crit. You need to shoot weak parts or headshots and everything, and that's when you crit. This works anywhere. If there is some crit items that you can build towards, you can reliably get a lot of crits. And a lot of crits means a lot of life leech. Now, the talent trees and the way they work is, the augment abilities are buffing your action skills. So we're going to take the Energy Vampire that gives you some overshield and some status effects that's buffing your bleed and then getting you more energy shield. That should just be good all around. It's better than the others that you can have. And after that, you're working towards a capstone. Now, the capstones are split into 3 different avenues, as I'm showing it here. We're going to go with the rightmost one here, and we're going to check Grave Vitality. That's a kill skill, which gives you maximum health capacity and health regeneration, further infusing into the life-stealing theme of the entire game that just synergizes very well, because the longer or the faster you regen, the better you're going to be. Now, a kill skill is essentially anytime you kill anything, it will proc. Sounds OP. And if you're thinking, why am I not taking all the kill skills that are available? The reason why is because I'm thinking that I want a build that will also be good against a really, really big boss that doesn't have any ads. It just has a lot of health, because kill skill will not proc if there are no ads. And I don't know if there is going to be. If there are going to be ads, we can modify the build. But the synergies right now look juicy. After that, we're going to go to Essence Leech. This is, again, you gain lifesteal, and this effect is double while your action skill is active. And yes, I know what you're thinking. The action skill is on a cooldown of 55 seconds. What am I going to do in between? Well, funny you should ask. We're going to cap off with taking the capstone of Heartpiercer because that's the one that you can sacrifice some health, and it should become good once you have got to a point where you're never below 90-80% health. You can always use some so that you can heal something back and then, do it again. But we're going to move on to the other three. So the beauty in Borderlands 3 is that you get a lot of flexibility. Oh, sorry, Borderlands 4. I mean, I guess it was the same in Borderlands 3 as well. But you get a lot of flexibility in how you want to build your character. So we're going to hop over and we're going to put 13 points into Face Familiar and 11 points into Death Ringer. So let's start with the Face Familiar. And we're going to start with a very easy buff, a Hasty Fiends. This is move speed and damage reduction. Both of it is something that is always good in every single game. If you're the fastest guy on the battlefield, no one can catch you. So don't underestimate move speed. Easy as that. And there is two other builds, or rather two other talents and passive points that are very interesting to my mind, and they do seem to have good synergies with what we're trying to do. One of them, and that one is a little bit more on the flexible side, that depending on whether you need it or not, you can take it. This one is Enhancement. This gives you bonus kinetic damage, and if you remember, we're attuned to kinetic, so we do more kinetic damage, and that's going to be all our build, and while our action skill is active. This is going to be strong because we're going to try to be in our action skills all the time. And the next one is Grave Sustenance. This is a kill skill, and I know, it's a kill skill. What about if it's a boss? Yes, I know, but outside of the boss, this should be very useful, where we restore a percentage of the missing action skill duration. Now there is two different things. You pop your action skill, it has a duration of, say, how much was it? Let me check again. 25 seconds. It goes down to 20. You get a kill skill, it goes back up. So you can stay longer in your kill skill. And then, of course, there's the cooldown. So you want to increase the duration and reduce the cooldown. That's it. This helps us with the increase of the duration. And then we go over to Dead Ringer. And Dead Ringer, we're going to start with getting some gun damage. Gun damage is always good, but again, this is more on the flexible type of the skills, whether if you are feeling very strong, you could put it somewhere else. The other one is Sanguine Fields. This is getting some more health regeneration. That should be very useful in the beginning. And we're going to take 1 point into Grave Quickening because that's all we have, unfortunately. This is reducing the cooldown. Now, if the items end up being supportive of action skill in a way that you have a lot of duration, you can put more into Grave Quickening. If it ends up being that you have a lot of cooldown reduction, you can leave it as is, or you can put some points somewhere else. Understand the synergies, and you're going to do well. A couple of notable additions that I left out but might be useful. So in the beginning, something like a Guns and Needles, where your rep kit cooldown gets reduced by 7% on a kill skill, that could be useful if you're falling behind and you're struggling and you need a lot of healing. So consider these things in mind. That I don't know how the respecking is going to work yet, but if it's only money-based and you can do that fairly easily and it's a flat fee, not an ever-increasing fee, you could put 3 points in here, reduce the cooldown, and then just live happily while leveling. Obviously, there's splash damage. If it ends up being that a lot of mobs are doing, or there is a lot of horde of enemies and not a lot of heavy single target enemies, these kind of things like the volatile essence become much more important than, for example, just the gun damage, right? Because it's going to give you better utility. So keep that in mind. Then obviously kill skills and so on. If all the bosses, we have tons of ads, kill skills will shoot up in value because you can reliably proc them all the time. So these are a couple of things that I wanted to highlight so that you know what to expect for. There is a lot of different variations. Now I need to land somewhere, so I'm going to go with this one for the beginning and then see how it feels by playing the game. And of course, what kind of items I'm finding, because that's going to dictate if I get a legendary something that is going to feed and fuse well with, say, the Face Familiar or the Dead Ringer, then we can start with this. But this feels like it's going to be insane on paper. Let's just recap. You're going to have insane health regen. You're going to have insane life sustain. You're going to have higher damage the higher your life is. and you're going to have bleed, and the bleed is going to stack and keep on increasing with your gun damage. There is not a lot to hate about this, let me tell you guys. Yep, I think I'm happy with it. Now look, this is just the first of many. I have been thinking non-stop about this game, and I cannot stop, and I will not stop either. So, if you think that you're going to enjoy this build, then give a like to the video, subscribe to the channel. I will be bringing you Borderlands 4 content like my life depends on it, because I enjoy it. Either way, I hope to see you in the next one, and peace!